Welcome to today's battle report. We are bringing you today Parthians versus Roman. So I'll give a quick rundown of the troops on the battlefield. First we have the Romans on the right wing, who consist of some cavalry down the back of the Roman army and two legions of Roman infantry in the centre, supported by a legion on the right and a legion of auxiliary spearmen. I should also point out the really cool watchtower built by me, which is a copy of a Syrian watchtower which I got from a book. Now inside here is the Roman soldiers, Roman bowmen, Sagatorium I think they're called, and some Roman Scopio mounted on the roof. The watchtower itself is made out of milliput. I just thought I'd mention that, and I copied it from one of my little history books, which showed it was a pre-Roman fortress that was refortified by the Romans, and I thought it kind of fitted the scenery of the period we're doing. So that's the Roman army. So now we'll deal with those horrible nasty Parthians, because of course you know what they're like. The Parthian army is split into two forces. One force here, which is made up of light cavalry, supported by an elephant for some reason, and a general. And then the second Parthian force, which consists of two cohorts of cavalry, cataphract cavalry, and a unit of levy spearmen, who are hilariously fun to fight against. They're also supported by an elephant. Quite nice little armoured elephant, if I don't say so myself. Right, so we will begin and we will see how it plays out. Well, the Parthians are attacking with a vengeance. They've just managed to form wedge formation, charge straight across the battlefield and crash into my Roman cohort, and basically they've burst through it and it's been destroyed. Over here, however, I have managed to push back the levy, the Parthian levy, and the Parthian levy are actually more or less at breaking point, whereas the Romans here have taken little casualties. So now it's up to the Romans to react to that. The Romans have launched a counter-attack and they've smashed straight into the side of the cataphracts and they've withdrawn. The cataphracts have fallen back and I'm afraid they've been destroyed. All those Romans slapping into the side of them. The Roman spear also attacked the already disordered levy, and the levy are on their way home as well. Unfortunately for me, the Roman stampeded into my infantry and has done a slight amount of damage to them. Only slight. Very, very slight. But the Romans seem to be holding this side of the table. It certainly looks like the Parthian charge has failed, although they have successfully destroyed one legion and seriously caused damage to several others. The actual Parthian force has been destroyed. There is still one unit of Parthian cavalry in existence, and I'll be dealing with him very shortly. However, I have turned my back on the large Parthian force over there, which still hasn't done anything. So we will see what happens. What I was worried about has happened. The Parthian light horse have charged in behind me and at extreme long range have begun pelting my Roman infantry with arrows. This is one of the worst things about Parthian horse. They are arrow heavy. They're a very fast light cavalry army that throws arrows constantly. And he's also got a baggage train, so you know it's not going to turn out well for me, I don't think. Especially as the Romans have only got one cohort of cavalry. So my Romans have taken quite a few casualties from the bow fire, and it's really up to the Parthians whether or not they're going to be charging in and whether or not the Romans are going to get time to regroup before they do it. Well, the Parthian charge has worked perfectly. Those arrows really did cause damage. I rather stupidly formed my legion into, well, my cohort into Tuxedo, and then he charged me with his elephant, so I basically broke. Also, the Roman levy infantry have broken as well. They were already pretty much shattered, to be honest, so I didn't really expect them to stand, but they've gone as well, which means the Parthians have really written off the right wing of the Roman army. leaving only 4 intact units of Roman soldiers, 2 in the tower and 2 down on the ground. So it doesn't look good for the Romans at the moment. Although the Parthians have lost all their heavy cavalry, they still have a considerable force on the battlefield. So my Roman cavalry have broken and are now basically leaving the battlefield. The Parthian horse, however, have taken considerable casualties against the Romans, by the Romans. And on this side, the Roman legion is still holding the Parthians at bay, although the Parthians are still showering them with arrows. So it doesn't look too good for the Romans now, and the Parthians seem to be in a better position than the Romans. And so the battle is over, and it is a decided Parthian victory. They've finally swept away the last of the Romans, leaving only the Romans in the tower, which really don't count. So the Parthians have won a victory. So for the first time on a battle report, Parthians versus Romans, the Romans have lost. That's absolutely awful. Which I think the Romans have lost practically every game we've played so far, so I don't think Romans are doing very well.
The draw on Dacians versus Romans.
They do, it was a draw, yes. This, however, was a decided defeat. The Parthians are truly the masters of the battlefield. So I hope you've enjoyed this battle report. I will be loading more battle reports up in future when we get them done. And I hope you enjoy looking at the figures, which took me ages to paint. I'd also like to point out that these Parthian cavalry, which you see here, which are particularly nice figures, were supplied to me by Irregular Miniatures, who actually designed the figures for me. I mentioned I had this as an idea to do last year, and he designed the figures. So it was very nice of him, and I'll put a link to him in the low bar. And I hope you enjoyed the battle report, and there will be more from me later. Thank you for watching. Please click like and subscribe, and see you later.